All right. Before I get started on this last video, I want to do a big shout out to Spider Hank and Film Sensei. These guys are awesome. Frank is the developer of a new Blender build. He's got some excellent tools for Hitfilm. This is just king of king when it comes to, Hitfilm and Blender. Film Sensei, everyone knows he puts out some awesome tutorials. He is definitely the man to watch. I mean, I just can't say enough about how much he knows about how to fit Hitfilm and how to composite and make things. It's just absolutely fantastic. These guys made a few logos from the SVG tutorial that I was trying to put up. Here's one of Frank's. This is just, please, Frank, you need to teach me how you did this. This is amazing. Film Sensei, man, this dude, he was like 10 minutes after I put up the first video, he made that. This cool. This is just simple, just awesome right there. I love that. And this second one he did, man, I really like this. This cold shield, big shadow on it. I love that. Martial arts, total defense, martial arts. Look at that. That's awesome. And man, look at that. This floor reflection. I'm telling you, Film Sensei, this is Jay. This is Jay. This is awesome stuff, man. Unbelievable. So, that's what you can do with these SVGs. Just convert them over to an object. Here's Frank's website where you can get all the tools to convert that object in Blender into Hitfilm, and you're off and running. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that. That is just rocking. So we're moving on to the main video. Okay, in the last video, we set up our lights and textured our model. Now, I'm going to add some flares. What we're going to do here in this last video is just add some flares to my metal. Maybe some colorization, a little bit of lens dirt, maybe some stars in the background. We'll just see how it goes. So without any further ado, let's get started. So what I want to do is I'm going to duplicate our first comp, which I named main logo. So Control D to duplicate it, then I'm going to rename it to flares. Now flares are a 2D. Flares operate in 2D only. They're not a three-dimensional object. They're just plastered on the screen as a 2D flat image. But I'm going to make and fake the flares to be 3D. So let's open up that flares comp. Now it's just the same comp. And first thing I want to do is let's turn off the cameras for a second. Okay, got to scrub the playhead. I'm going to change my views to 3. Okay, so here's the side view of the model, and this should be a top view right here. So we'll just kind of scroll these. Again, let's shrink the window so you can see a little better. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to add points to this, add points to track to the model, and then we're going to track flares to the points. Now, this may not make a lot of sense right now, but in the end, you will see the result. It's pretty cool. Okay, so first thing I want to do is add a point, turn it 3D. Now I'm going to duplicate it 3 more times. Control D, Control D, Control D. All right, so I'm going to go back to the first point. And I'm going to change this active camera view to front view over here so we can see our point. So top view, right view, front view. Now in my first first camera scene, the light is reflecting off of this area over here. So I want to put my first point maybe on the edge of the model. Okay, and then I'm going to parent this point to the object, to our model. So now it's just parented. If you scrub the playhead, the camera's moving, the model's not. But go to an active camera view here, turn on a camera, first camera, put my cursor on the point. Now let's change these views here so you can see. So here's my point right here. And you can see I didn't get it too well lined up. No big deal. I want the point to just be on the edge of the model. Now, if I scrub this playhead, it should pretty much stay in the same spot. Okay? Not too bad. Not too bad. But you notice this is going to be the point of my flare, so I don't want my flare down here in the dark when my light is up at the top of the logo right here, see? So, little trick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a grade layer, okay? And in that grade layer, I'm going to drag in the light flares. Throw down the controls for the light flares. I'm going to change it to golden artifacts. I'm going to change the hotspot of the flare to 0.1, the new point, very first one we made. All right, now, if I scrub the playhead, you see that the flare stays pretty much locked right on that point. But again, see, we're down here. There's no reflection down here. So I want the flare to be up on top here, following the light. So 0.1, even though it's parented to the object, we can still move the point and still have it be tied to the model. So I'm going to go to the end of camera 1 here. And I'll scroll out a little bit so I can see. Oh, sorry about that. Just pick the point. Scroll out, grab it, just kind of pull it up into view here. Back to scale. And let's just pull it over. Okay. So now when I scrub the playhead, the point, see how it travels in the middle of the model, but it's going to end up where we started. So to fix this middle of the model thing, I want to keep the flare on the outside edge. I'm just going to go to the middle, roughly. I'm going to grab the point and I'm going to move it over. Now, I'm going to just scrub through it to see how well the flare stays locked to the edge of the model. Not too bad. It kind of dips in right here a little bit. You can adjust that with the light brightness, or tweak it a little bit more. You can see right here it kind of rolls up. I just want to try and do this with 3 keyframes. I do not want to have a bunch of keyframes. You'll see the light jittering around, and that's not what you want. Do quick RAM preview on this real quick. Shouldn't take too long. It's only about a second camera. Well, maybe a little longer than that. Get to the end here. It's diving in there at the end. You can fix that. But this is kind of a basic thing. Let me drag this back out here. Just set an out position and play the thing. Okay, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Right there at the very end, it's kind of diving, but hey, you could tweak that for look, tweak the brightness, add flicker, do all kinds of things. It won't be noticeable. Speed up the camera move. It's at the end of the play, and normally I would put a Gaussian blur, kind of like a fading camera blur to the next shot anyway, so may not even see it. But that's to get the gist of how to add a flare. So now I'm going to show you how to do one. Then I'm going to speed through the rest of them and add them up to get all 4 of them. So, but I want to show you how to get this flare over to, I'm going to use this as my main comp. I want to put these flares in this main logo comp. So I want to turn off cameras, all the lights, and the 3D model. Only thing I want active is the flare grade, okay? Right here. Go back to the main logo, grab over to the media, and drag the flare comp in above your lights. Okay, now you notice, remember I said it was 2D, so it's not following the point on the model, which should be the edge here. So, to get that to this flare to follow this edge, take the flares comp that we just brought in, turn it into 3D unrolled. Okay, now your point, your flare, is following the edge of that model. Okay, so that's how I'm going to add all my flares through to the next, through to the end. I'm just going to pick a point, right? That's because I'm just going to pick a point and work it just like I did this. Now, each grade, just to let you know, go back here to the flares layer. You just drag this grade down, okay? So it doesn't jump to the next. We're not going to use that flare in that shot. So that's how we're going to add all the ones. I'm going to speed through the rest. Be back after I'm done. Okay, so we've done all the points and flares. Can always be tweaked for better. But there we go. Now, if you used auto light flares, the single auto light would jump around all over the model because the model is being illuminated at brightest spots at different points. So that's why I used a manual type flare. Okay, so with that, I want to turn off the model, all the lights, and the cameras. Let's do a quick save here, make sure. Now go back to the main logo, and there's our flares comp that we brought in earlier. Now the rest of our stuff should, there we go, there we go. So that's how I do flares. If you got rocks, grass, wood on your logo, then wouldn't need to go to this point, but hey, that's how you do flares. If you bring this 2D back, you can see, okay, the flares are not lined up with what we got going on. So remember, make sure to take your flares layer, turn it into 3D unrolled, and you should get a pretty good track of your flares. Might be another way to do it if you know how to do it. And there's an easier way. Hey, let me know. Okay, last thing I'm going to do real quick here. This is purely for your preference tastes. I'm just going to bring in a little bit of colorization. Going to drop it in above the flares. This is just a PNG, that created some gradient colors. Going to set its blend mode to add, maybe. Yeah, let's see. Let's just see what screen does. Screens, let's tell you what. Let's see what the screen does by going to the controls. I'm going to drop down the opacity of the layer. Okay. Just looking for some color. See, if you see color here, there's some color. If I leave the blend mode to screen, let's go back to add. Just a little bit brighter. I think I want bright. Okay, so a little colorization. Tell you what, let's add a gray layer. Let's try again, lens dirt. It's I have a dirt particle over here. It's just going to throw a little bit of scuff on my space camera. Just drag it to the bottom of the stack, turn it off. Go back here to the grade layer, lens dirt, dirt layer, dirt. Now, should see, let's see what this colorization's doing here. Do I see my lens dirt? Yeah, there we go, right in the middle. Subtle, subtle. Okay, turn my colorization back on. Okay, cool. And listen, since this is space, whoops, apologize for that. Mac, beautiful magic mouse. Let's put a background in. There should be a Starfield preset. Let me spell it right. Maybe I can't spell it right. Star 3D effect. Got to be here. Well, it was called Starfield. Oh, I'll be darned. Might not have it. Might have been a preset that I made. Let's see what this one is here. All right, so that'll work. All I did was named it sphere, start sphere. So I'll just drag it back a little bit till it shows up. Go to the emitter properties of this particle system. Go down to movement. Let's put the scale to 200. Let's see what happens there. There we go. Just got some small stars in the background. It's a spacey scene after all, right? Right? What else could you do? Particles at camera. I just generated a MOV of some particles coming right at the camera. Let's see, we can put that under the flare. Now we should see, okay, there's our particles. So let's put the blend mode to, don't need to change the blend mode. This has got an alpha channel. So let's just turn the opacity of the layer down. You know what? We're not even going to use that. It's too short for my comp. I could put it in somewhere else, but for simplicity's sakes, last thing you may want to do is add a vignette. Should be able to just going to darken the edges up a little bit. So, pick your music, add your cool logo, throw you some flares on, title slams, whatever you want to do, change the keyframe. Just have a blast. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and have a great day.